Welcome to this week's session with the Putnam County District Library and the Guiding Ohio Online Grant. This week we're going to look at some additional tips with Apple Pages. Last month we had looked at Apple Pages and Sheets and Keynote, which all come with an Apple Mac computer when you purchase it. It comes with an iPad. And this month, we're going to dive into these applications and look at them in a little bit more detail in terms of what they're capable of doing. Last month, we just kind of did a brief introduction. So if you remember right and had watched any of the previous sessions, we went under Go and we went to Applications, which is where we would find Pages. And Pages is always this orange, looks like it has the pen, whether you're on a computer itself or if you're on an iPad, the icon looks exactly the same. So we're going to click on that, open that up. Now I have a document I already created, but if I go here to File, New, what you would see is this is how it would look to come up new for anyone. And you have all of these different options, which we had talked about last month, where you can choose a template or you can simply just look at the blank page and start from scratch. So I'm going to go back here to the document that I had started. And actually, this was created using ChatGPT. I went in, just simply typed in and said I would like to have information about September 11th of 2001. And since we're posting this here and kind of as a remembrance a little bit of what had happened, and just ask for information concerning that. So the first thing we're going to do is I want you to notice the zoom button. Remember, I can zoom in and out. This is not changing the physical size. It's just the appearance on the screen. So if I were to go and print this, everything's going to print exactly the same size. So that is the first thing. Notice then we can add a page right here. And so I could just simply click on add a page. It's going to add a page from wherever I am at. So here I am at the end of this sentence. So if I go add a page, it's putting a blank page right down below here, even though I already have a document that has all of these additional pages as well. So that is with add a page. Then let's take a look here at insert. So I'm going to go ahead and hit return here a couple of times. Go to insert. I can actually page break. So I could, again, click here. It's going to add a page break. So again, I've got another page that is added. So now I have two blank pages. Go back up here again, go to insert. I can do a line break, a section break, column break. So I can do any of these types of breaks that I might want on my page itself. I can also do page number. So it's putting it because I'm on page 1. I'm going to hit return here. If I go insert again, I'm going to get my page count. So I've got 6 pages now because I have those blank pages that I had added. Same thing, I can go insert, pretty self-explanatory. I can go to date and time. Those are probably the most used. You do see footnote as well. So if I was actually typing some type of document for reporting purposes, notice now I've got this footnote here at the bottom. The other thing, I'm going to slide this over since my this is my recording screen showing up here at the bottom. Notice my character count. So if I go up here and I type, you'll notice my character count is going to change. And again, that is not something that's going to show up. That's just something for me to see. If I go again to the top and I go to my next menu item, I've got tables. So I have all of these different tables with different colors. So I can click on that. I can go over here on the side and actually change the format. I can add a title. I can change my numbers of rows easily here. So instead of 5 rows, I could make it 6, and I can change my outline, the outline, all this information, anything here can be changed. Whether I want to show my grid lines or not show my grid lines, and all I simply do is click on this and type in there. And when I do that, the other thing that you're going to see is I can then change the actual information in here, whether I want to make it bold, italics, if I want to make it centered, so forth. So I've got all those options of how I can change things. Then if we take a look here at the next item down, we've got chart. Same thing. I've got all these different concepts of different ways that I can create. I can make them 2D, 3D, or I can even make an interactive chart by simply do like a bar graph type chart here. Again, can change. If I click over here, I can change the style. I can change the arrange. So I've got charts here. I can change again. If I want to have a title on my chart, I can check mark that. Notice now I've got an area that the title would appear. If I want to have a border around my chart, again, so many options here. Best thing to do is just kind of work with it until you get the image to appear the way that you would like to see it. Again, I'm going to click. Notice wherever my cursor is flashing, that's where information is being added. I'm going to go to text. Now, this is making a text box, which is different than what I had on my document itself. So when I click here on text box, now anything I put here within this box is what is going to appear. And I can type my information in here. I can then change my text color. I can change, and I can go here. If I go to more, I have layout, I have style. The other interesting thing here, if I go to style, I can change the background color of my box. I can put a border around it if I would want a border. 2 different types. So I've got a picture frame border. I've got just the line border. I can do a shadow type, on this. So if I do a drop shadow, notice what happened and how my border changed. And now I've got this shadow down below. Again, all these different options. Next one, going across to shape. Pretty self-explanatory. Anything that is in here, I can click on. I can add that in, and again. Now notice it put my shape here. I simply click and move this around on the page, and it's going to move this anywhere that I so choose. Now currently, this is where this arrange can come into play, because I've got my box, I've got my person. I could change this, and I could actually make this, arrange it, and I can then, if I send this back, notice what happens. My person is back behind the box, so you don't see it. So I look like I've got a box with legs that can walk. So again, what happens here, and notice what happened too, is because I was putting this stuff over top of my chart, and it's moving my chart. As I move this around, my chart and the text box are moving because of how those are arranged in there. And then we go to media. Same type of concept here that we had with everything else in terms of adding information in. If I go to photos, movie, musics, all of these are going back to like when I click here on photos, it's going to take me to the information of what I have saved in terms of images on my physical machine. So when I look at these, I've got all of these different, let's pick this one, Milk Duds. Notice now I've got this picture that's in here. And by adding that picture in, again, it went in wherever my cursor was, and I can do the same type of thing with my image. I can actually go to style here, and I can again put a border around it. I can change the style of my border, anything that I might want to do. Same type of thing. I can do a curve shadow just so you can see a difference appearance. I can change the opacity, so I can change the appearance again. So those are the different tools that you're going to see across the top. Comment is something, again, something that maybe if you get information and someone's creating something and then maybe someone else is taking a look at it, and you might maybe notice I've got here, if I go comment, I could say, Shelley, this image, those words are kind of blurry. I think you might want to maybe use another. So I can type that in there. And then the person that I am looking at this document with would then see that and be like, oh, okay, yeah, guess maybe I should try a different image. And then notice here, if I go to File, I go to Save. It's going to take my document, it's going to save. And then I also have the Share option here, where I could share it with someone else, or I can export it. And notice export, I could export this to Word if I wanted to. If I knew that I was going to send this to someone else and they had Word, they didn't have Pages, that would be an option. The other thing is if it's a document that I've created and I do not want anyone to make changes to it, I want it as is. If I save it as a PDF, PDF stands for Portable Document Format. So by making it a portable document format, anybody can open it up. You will not be able to make changes to it, but the other thing you want to keep in mind is that a PDF is like a picture. So it's not something we could now go in and make changes to. Unless you have Adobe Acrobat, which then there is the ability there, the paid version, to be able to change. This is the best way to send a document to someone that you want it to appear exactly as it does when you created it. So this is definitely the best format if you're doing anything like sending out resumes and such. Just send it as a PDF. Because then no matter what someone has on their computer in terms of an application, it will open up and look the same. So that is what you will see and what you will find when you look at Apple Pages in much more detail. Thanks for joining us. Next week, we will again take a closer look at our Apple products.